I'm gonna get started with sharing a little bit about what we're gonna cover today, what the setup of the workshop is, and I'm gonna start telling you a little bit about myself and the type of work that I do in case that you're new here. And then we're gonna talk about the importance of the apple desire and sexual energy for the life of the modern woman. Then we're gonna do the exercise to connect with your sexual energy and to unearth the desire once we understand the power of it. And then I'm gonna share a few different ways that we can continue working together. And then we're gonna do a Q&A if we have time and if there's enough people on the chat. So let's go ahead and get started. So my name is Silvana. I am the founder of the Venusian Academy, and I have been going through a journey with my feminine energy, trying to find a sense of empowerment in my sexuality. And this has led me through various journeys. I grew up in a culture where women were seen as the servants of men, where, I'm sorry about the background sound, by the way, where women were seen as like the servants of men, and where female sexuality was something that was shamed, something that was embarrassing, something that you needed to keep down. And I grew up thinking that this could not be the right thing because of the way that I feel. So I think like part of the reason why I do this type of work is because I try to deprogram myself, and I've tried to explore more of the depth of who I am. And this has been very closely connected to my sexual energy. Once I started working with this energy of sexuality and desire, my entire life started changing, and I started discovering this new world, and that's when I found Tantra. So I'm gonna be sharing with you kind of like the Spark Notes version of all of this work that I've done. And this exercise that I'm going to be teaching you today is going to radically change your life. And this is not a marketing promise. This is what happened with me. Like, I started seeing results within 1 week. So just stepping into this world, it's a very powerful activation. And if you have the faith in the process, and if you join this container, this workshop, with the energy of I could witness a miracle, that's exactly what's going to happen, because this is the power of Tantra and the tantric work, and this is the power of a woman that gets activated into this energy. So one of the reasons why it took me so long to start teaching about Tantra is because I entered the world in Tantra at age 22, and I entered this world in a very, let's say, I experienced the darker sides of it, where there is manipulation and where people are using Tantra as a way of manipulating sexual energy. So I really steer clear from it. And then I found White Tantra, which is the tantric path that uses sexual energy but doesn't engage the sensorial experience. It's a very spiritual path. And about 3 years ago, I began retapping into what I knew from the past into the practices. And within a week of beginning these tantric practices and understanding, having first the understanding of female sexuality, who I am, what is desire, why it's so important for a woman, and then stepping into the tantric practices, that's what completely transformed my life. So based on all of these studies, I have very particular beliefs about what is a woman and what is our role in the world, in the story of the collective evolution of consciousness and spirituality. So according to the Yoni Tantra, which is a Vedic text that focuses on understanding the role of woman. Now, let's keep in mind that most spiritual texts are rooted on the masculine side of Tantra, are rooted on practices that men must do. And there is very little stuff revealed about the female path. So the Yoni Tantra specifically shares about the divinity of woman and how a woman that is activated, meaning a woman that perceives herself as the expression of the divine goddess, an expression of Shakti, and unique drop on the multiplicity of expressions that Shakti has. This activated woman that sees herself like that, she becomes the path of enlightenment and freedom to get out of samsara for the masculine path. So if we perceive ourselves from this perspective of I know I am an expression of a divine energy. It's not that I, Silvana, am a goddess. No, it's that I, like the goddess is breathing me. An expression of her is this version of Silvana, and this is holy and divine, and this is actually the path of freedom for the people in my life that are embodied in the divine masculine aspect. Like, this is, this is true power. This activates you in a different way. Why? Because of the power of identities. If I have an identity that I am a woman, and my definition of a woman is that a woman is the servant of man, I'm gonna live a life of slavery. But if I have the identity of a woman, and I understand that a woman is a divine vehicle for liberation, and everything she feels and desires is not her desire, but is the goddess's desires flowing through her, I am embodying a completely different energy. So this is the importance of understanding what a woman is. And under the tantric lens, a woman is the path to freedom. And to be a woman is the highest gift that we could have. Why? Because we have a yoni, because we have the womb space. Even if you don't have a physical womb, because it got removed or for whatever reason, the opportunity of having a yoni and a womb gives us access to a spiritual space that channels information between worlds. So we are beings that are closely related to the earth and to nature. And this was the birth of this workshop, because this workshop is called Eat the Apple. And this is connected to a lot of, the shaming that certain religions have against female sexuality. If you ask anybody on the street, 99.99% of the world, and you tell them, tell me about Eve and the apple, they're gonna tell you Eve pulled Adam out of the Garden of Eden by biting into the apple. So she is temptation, and this was the fall of the Garden of Eden. So this puts woman in a perspective of being the evil snake talking temptress that pulls poor old Adam out of the Garden of Eden. Under the esoteric and tantric perspective, what's really happening there is that the Garden of Eden is the space of a spiritual immaturity, the spiritual innocence of childhood. It's like, I don't know what I am. That's why I'm unaware of my body. I'm unaware of my nakedness. And I am in blissful state of consciousness. This is the animal kingdom. If you observe an animal, they're just blissfully living their lives because they don't have an awareness of their spiritual nature. Exiting the Garden of Eden means stepping into spiritual maturity. And in order for us to do that, we have to access our sexual energy. So this is evolution. Stepping outside of the Garden of Eden means individualizing to enter into the realm of the gods, which is the awareness that we have that we are divine creatures having a human experience and merging, connecting our animal nature with our spiritual nature. This is a responsibility, and this type of work, Tantra, working with our sexual energy, is for the people, and specifically, the Shakta Tantra that I practice is for the women that are ready to step into the feminine individuation path, which is the spiritual adulthood of being very responsible and very aware of the power of our sexual energy. So this is an ancient new consciousness that is arriving into the planet, and this is why I do this work, because the difference between the masculine path and the feminine path is that the masculine path is more linear, and we have hierarchies because that is the principle of order, and order needs hierarchies to function. The feminine path does not need hierarchies. So in me being activated in this, whenever there's more women that are activated in this energy, we're forming a circle that eventually turns into a spiral, and we're magnifying the space that we all have to express the rawness and the creativity of our sexual energy. From our sexual energy, we as women are connected to our spirituality. It's not from the third eye, and it's not from here. It's from our sexual energy. So let's begin with the symbolism of the apple, the snake, and the dove. These are symbols that we see in churches. We see them in biblical stories, we've seen them in archetypical stories, and there are many interpretations of it. The one I'm going to give you today is based on the tantric lens of the apple symbolizing this energy that pulled Eve and Adam, right, the innocent aspects of creation, out of the Garden of Eden, out of the ignorance of the blissful space of not knowing the essence and the power of sexual energy. So the apple is the symbol for desire. And under the tantric lens, we look at desire as the fuel of manifestation. The reason why Maya, the great illusion of this three-dimensional reality, was created. Desire is the thing that ignited the creator, the oneness, to separate itself from itself so it can have this blissful experience. So from this perspective, desire is such a powerful, deep root essence of who we are as human beings. And the fact that Eve was the one that offered the apple is symbolic of the fact that this energy and the power of desire comes from the feminine polarity within the species. So whenever we look at our bodies, right, we look at a male body and a female body, the softness, the juiciness, like the seductive power that the female form has to ignite emotion, whether the emotion are sexual emotions, lust, anger, hatred, rage, like it is the power of the female form that does that. And because of that is that for thousands of years there has been a suppression of this very divine feminine energy. Because if I want to control a population, if I want to control a society, I have to shun this energy of desire, and desire lives in the woman. Divine desire lives in a woman's sexual centers. So the apple is the desire of itself. Now, Eve of herself is the female form. The snake is the kundalini energy, is the sexual energy. Our desires come from a sexual energy, and desires begin manifesting in us before we become aware of our form and our beings are being sexual creatures. Whenever we are children, we experience desires. So sexual energy is present also in children. Sexual energy is present from the moment that we are born, from the moment that we are conceived. Then we awaken to it, right? We get out of the Garden of Eden, and then we're like, wait a minute, I have a body and I have parts that feel good. And that is the maturation that human beings go during the process of puberty. But spiritually, that kundalini energy is always there. So the snake is kundalini that moves horizontally. Why? Because a snake moves on the earth, right? So now we get into the symbolism of the dove. If you go to any church, you're going to see the Holy Spirit as the dove. And the dove is up, right? It's like above whatever image you're seeing. Whether if you're seeing a feminine image, the dove is above Mary, or the dove is above Jesus, or you can find it in the cross. There's like this deep symbolism that we see everywhere. What does that mean? What does the Holy Spirit mean? What does this like spiritual energy that doesn't have a name really mean? Then we have the symbolism of the cross. So the cross, we have one line horizontally and one line vertically. Whenever there is union between the feminine principle and the masculine principle, we form a cross. And in the juncture of the cross, we have the snake becoming the dove, meaning the feminine path moves energy horizontally. Kundalini sexual energy horizontally, and the masculine path of control and restraint and focus on the third eye and on the crown chakra is moving that same energy vertically up, ascension. And together we are evolving. We are entering into our godlike forms, into our godlike selves. And this isn't something that we just do in a lifetime. This is the history of humanity. Humanity is here on a journey of understanding its animal nature in order to achieve its divine nature. but one cannot exist without the other. So that's why there's two elements. That's why this reality is a reality of duality, and that's why we have the separation of the genders. If we didn't need the separation between male and female principle, we wouldn't have males and females. We would reproduce on our own. But this is part of this reality. So part of gaining mastery over this reality is understanding that we are here to learn and to explore and to define what being a human being is. And having the honor of incarnating in this particular lifetime as a woman is giving us the mystery, because womanhood is about the mystery. It's something that we dive deep within ourselves, that we explore, and we're like what is this thing? And the times that I've been able to have conversations about feminine mysteries with other women that are on this tantric path, we can't articulate it. The moment that you begin thinking about it, it's like there's a moment of meeting, of understanding that we both tapped into this energy of like we know, but we cannot speak it, because to speak it is to get out of this space of the divinity. So how can we use words and symbols to tap into the power of this energy? And that's where the apple comes back. The way that we're going to encapsulate the gift of this mystery that cannot be spoken, because the moment it is spoken, we get out of the magic of it, is going to be through the apple. And we understand that the apple is the symbol for desire, and desire is divine. And a woman's desire is not only her personal desire, it's Shakti's desire flowing through her. And Shakti is the power of Shiva. Shiva is our consciousness. Shakti is everything that is created, everything that exists. So if Shakti is the power of Shiva, she has a plan to evolve, to know herself, to understand herself, and unite with her divine, unite with the consciousness, with that Shiva consciousness. This energy of unity is already, like, there is a divine intelligence that's already setting it all up. But in order for the collective to move into the divine plan, a woman needs to tap into her desire and acknowledge it and understand what is the truest desire behind all of her little desires, and unleash it through the power of her sexual energy. So that's what we're doing today. And if you join me on this path, you will see there's it's a feeling, and it's a feeling that you're gonna walk out of this workshop with this energy activated, with this feeling of I feel what this is. I feel the power of this, and that will give you the curiosity to continue exploring this. And whether you do it through another way outside of Tantra, as long as you're connecting your desire with that sexual energy and you learn to unleash your sexuality and the power of it, we are on board, and we are right on the curriculum of the divine plan of evolution. And whenever we work under this energy of being under the divine plan of evolution, our lives get very magical, because we get to see the potential and the magic of the divine, to the point where your faith simply becomes a knowing. So we're gonna start by stepping into very easy exercise. And what we're gonna do is, I want you to just sit down, take a deep breath. Even if you are in a cafe or at work and you're listening to this, you're not gonna have to do anything. This is all a feeling sensation. So do it with your eyes open or with your eyes closed, whatever feels more comfortable. But put your awareness, meaning send your feeling and yourself into your yoni, into the area of your vagina, your womb, like that entire area. That's what is called the yoni. So send your awareness there. And as you're tapping into this feeling of like, okay, I am feeling myself, my consciousness, my awareness, that focus, the part of us that can focus on one part. Like if I tell you, okay, yoni, now heart, now third eye, now back to heart, back to yoni, that one pointed energy, that's your inner Shiva. And Shakti lives in the yoni. So of itself, whenever we put our awareness into the yoni, there is a little tantric marriage that's happening there. So I want you to notice how that feels like. What does it feel like? Do you feel anything? Are there any sensations that happen in other parts of your body? Do you feel afraid of stepping into there? All of this is giving you information about what is your relationship to this raw sexual power. If you have had a lot of conditioning from, religious programming, or a lot of shaming from, from your upbringing, from your parents, from society, there's gonna be a little bit of a tightness to it. If you have had sexual trauma, there's going to be a disassociation from this part. So just notice all of that, because there's no right or wrong way of doing this or feeling this. It simply is what is. But notice, as we're having this conversation, and as you're listening to me, and as you're focusing your attention, your awareness into your yoni, what does it feel like? I'm gonna give you guys 15 seconds to just feel into it, and I'm gonna be holding the space here too with that feeling in myself, and then we'll continue, so you can just focus on that. For me personally, every time that I do this exercise, I get really excited, and there is sensation of like a like that. It doesn't have a word. It's like a so if you're watching live, put it in the chat, please share, just so I can see how the energy is moving. And this simple exercise of dropping into there, it's stirring energy. As simple as that. You're gonna tell me, Silvana, that is too simple. You cannot tell me that's what's gonna change the world. Yes, it will. Because the stirring of energy is something that's very subtle. And when we first start doing these practices, it doesn't feel like much. It's because it's subtle energy. It's divine feminine energy. I like to present the snake as a very shy energy of like I'm gonna peek out of it. You have to keep in mind that we have in our genetic code thousands of years of programming into that area, of shaming, of shunning. So thousands of years. That's what we're pushing up against. And we're not gonna do it the masculine way, which is powering through it. We're gonna do it in the feminine way, which is the awareness gives you that. Once we have begun stirring the center by simply putting awareness into it, and bringing our attention collectively and individually into this area, I want you to ask your yoni space, what does it feel like whenever she hears yes, whenever she perceives yes, whenever she embodies the yes? For example, think of your favorite fruit, the juiciest, most delicious fruit that you could eat all day, every day. Whenever you think of this, and I ask you the question, do you want to eat it? That yes, I want you to focus again on your yoni and notice what does the yes to eat your favorite fruit feels like in that area. And if you're able to do it right now, write it down on a piece of paper, take note of it, or after the workshop, make sure that you are journaling all of these discoveries that you made, because this is going to begin putting the puzzle together. So, yes, what does yes feel like? For me, yes feels like a like that. It's like an opening that fans out. And sometimes it fans out like this, like downwardly, and sometimes it fans out like whew, but there is a whew, and like a blooming, as if I'm close and then like that is how I perceive the yes in my yoni specifically. So taking note on how it is, right? Letting your awareness become conscious of how does this yes feel like in my yoni. The moment that your awareness and you are documenting by observing, what does the yoni yes look, feel, and experiences itself like, we're creating more of that inner marriage. Your inner Shiva and your inner Shakti are connecting. We're weaving. Tantra is a technology of weaving together. So in this moment, we are weaving together that Shiva so it can understand the yes of its own Shakti. So take a deep breath and then send the energy down into your yoni. We're gonna do a little reset. Bring your awareness into your heart. Just feel the center. Feel your body again. Now we're going to descend back into the yoni space. And in this moment, we're going to explore no. No. So we're stepping into like Black Tantra territory, right? Why? Because Black Tantra deals with all of the aspects of life that are rejected, that are grotesque, like all of the things that we observe, like there's no way this is the creator. But it is. And that's everything that exists is an expression of the creator itself to understand what it is. As a matter of fact, everything is incomplete because we are in a reality of division and duality. And we're finding the beauty of that. So think of the most grotesque, the most like disgusting thing that you can think of in this moment, and visualize it in front of you, or just say it out loud what that is. And as you're doing this, pay very close attention to what is the reaction that your yoni has. And this is a little bit harder because your mind wants to take over, because we're stepping into the occipital part of the brain. Your animal instinct is kicking in. It's saying like, no, we're gonna run away from this. But descend back into the yoni. Whenever I think of this disgusting thing, what do I feel? What is the sensation? What is the color? What is the feeling? What is the shape, texture? What is your yoni's energy doing? So for me, that no feels like a vacuum, and it's a vacuum that becomes a sore. I feel like a sore, and it taps into my throat. So it's always there, like my yoni and throat get very connected with the no. So when I perceive something that is a no, an absolute fucking no for me, like no way, it's like a like that, like constriction. Everything constricts. Becoming aware of this process again is weaving in together. What is that no? The no is something that it's so, like, you have no, the amount of women that I'm sure all of us know that have such a difficult time saying no, or don't know how to say no, or their no's come off too aggressively, or the no's get internalized and self-punishment. Like the no expresses itself in all of these various creative ways, because to voice no has created a lot of trauma for the females in our species, also for the masculines, but for the feminine in their, like, for I'm meaning for, like, for women and men, but for the feminine in the men, right? Like this is the part that has been shunned the most, our ability to reclaim the no. So the yes, it's a little bit easier to identify, but the no triggers that response, that occipital brain response, that part of our brain that is like in survival mode, because that is dangerous, and that is something that in the past has created a lot of trauma and dangerous things. So in the weaving that we're doing right now, in weaving together our inner Shiva, our consciousness, that one pointed part of our psyche that is able to connect with that yoni, we are weaving a new set of rules that say the no is safe. We can feel the no, and we are okay because we're still here. But take note, what is the complexity of your no? No's can sometimes feel like spikes. No's can sometimes feel like complete disassociation, where you're then unable to tap back into the yoni. So paying attention to what is the manifestation. For me, the sword feeling, right? It's like, it's almost like a, like it's like whenever you see the samurai movies and then they kill themselves by putting the sword in, like that's what it feels like. That yoni no is expressing itself in this way. So we're going to pendule our energy back into the yes, so we can enter into a yes energy and continue receiving what this exercise is about. So take another deep breath, descend into the yoni, clear, breath is clearing, so breath is moving that energy. And notice whenever you are in the neutral area, in the neutral zone, what are you feeling like right now? The no can sometimes feel a little bit draining, so we're going to bring back that delicious fruit or that one thing in your life that makes you go absolutely hell yes, like screaming yes, 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 I want more of it. This energy, this is the yes that we want to tap into it again. So we're going to bring it back. We already did it once, so let's bring in that yes back and then feel that like the the expansion of the flower, or however it shows up for you. And notice that we went from yes to no back to yes. So this exercise of pendulating is weaving that root center, is weaving our sexual energy with duality. And this is a reality of duality. So we are attuning, we are fine-tuning that Kundalini energy so it can identify that I don't move just in one way, that life and religion and society has forced me to move into, which is like the perpetual yes, 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 whether you like it or not. But I have the freedom of going the other direction as well. Yes and no, yes and no, yes and no. And this exercise is clearing, is opening up. This exercise is weaving together because your awareness into a part of yourself is bringing in your inner Shiva, your inner consciousness, into your sexual energy, into what is found in your yoni. So continue this pendulum energy. Now, what is it that we're weaving here? Because I keep saying weaving. What are we weaving? What's the result? We're weaving a collective mandala. And you're weaving your personal individual mandala. You're weaving a pattern. The pattern that is the match to your desires. The reason why we don't attract our desires with the ease that all the manifestation techniques tell us is because of that sexual center. Because if I have to weave in the right direction, and I've been conditioned for generations in my lineage that my sexual energy only can go in the left direction, then I cannot follow the stitch to match my desire. So whenever we are weaving together, we are letting the movement of energy begin weaving what is going to match. Because remember, like attracts like. And this doesn't mean like shitty people attract shitty people, good people attract good people. This means that you are attracting a reality that is matching whatever frequency and whatever pattern, form, shape your aura has that matches the raw sexual energy in yourself. And if you have a lot of unclaimed desires, there's a lot of knots. So in Tantra, we heal those knots, we release those knots through sound. We release them through mantras, because sound is a technology. Tantra is an ancient technology. And there's many ways of releasing those knots. We have so many techniques, so many therapies to do that. And we have like plant medicine is a great, the big unknotter, it's like just removing those knots. But the beautiful thing about this is like, you don't have to unknot to begin weaving. No. We can begin weaving right now. We can start this process right now. And it begins with moving your little snake from right to left, from yes to no, to give it the freedom to do that. So eventually she becomes strong enough to move between the yes and the no, where you become responsive to your own yoni and to your sexual energy. Meaning, I get presented with an opportunity and I immediately know whether it's a yes or a no for me. And I honor that yes and I honor that no. Honoring the no, that is part of the feminine individuation path, which is having the strength of the courage of knowing that I am safe and I am safe, like bringing back safety into the sexual centers. So as you begin feeling feeling this weaving energy. The exercise and the magic of this workshop is gonna be that now that we have opened her up and moved her up a little bit, and we're going between yes and no, and there is this little dance happening in your kundalini, we're going to drop back into the yoni, and we're going to ask this part of ourselves: what is your truest, deepest desire? I'm not going to give you the answer, but I'm going to give you a clue. And the clue is that there are two primary desires of all human beings on this planet. There's two. One of the desires gets unearthed and gets excavated by the divine feminine of the planet. And this is not just woman, this is the divine feminine in us. And the other desire gets acknowledged and discovered by the divine masculine of the planet. So there's one particular desire that is in you, that it's a code, and it's a code for all of us. And from that particular desire, many more manifest. But we have to tap into this. And the reason why I'm not telling you it's this one and this one is because these are tantric mysteries. Whenever I was learning, my teacher didn't tell me. He just said, like, there's two paths, there's duality. Find your one. Find the oneness. What is the oneness? What is the one true desire that just like activates you, and everything, like more desires pop up from that one, but are desires that are almost encompassing and surrounding that one true desire. And the discovery of that is life-changing. And the discovery of that is the gift that I want to give you in this workshop. If you do this exercise, this will be revealed to you by moving your sexual energy, by moving the little snake and exercising her. How? Yes and no, yes and no. You don't have to do it only like as a practice. Eventually, you go through life, and life is gonna give you plenty of opportunities to feel. Basically everything that you do, everything you eat, every person you experience, every place you enter is gonna give you a yes or no. So question, what do we do with the maybes, right? Because there's a lot of maybes, and maybes are uncertainty. And the energy of uncertainty is the energy of like, I don't have enough information yet. But sometimes uncertainty is, I know the answer and I am afraid of the answer. So allowing a space for uncertainty is also very important, but know and understand that to weave, we're dancing with two energies. And if we're dancing with two energies, it's important to understand what these energies feel like. That maybe, that is where your work lies. That maybe is giving you plenty of information to identify what is this, yes or no? And give yourself exercises to feel. Drop into a yoni. What does the yoni feel? And you notice that oftentimes that uncertainty is just a no, but there's so much fear in the no. There's so much fear in the visceral no, because the mind wants to rationalize why it's a yes, why it's a good idea. What did you learn that gave you information that this is the right thing and it should be a yes and it should be a yes? Feminine path is about the sensorial, dropping into the lower chakras. The lower chakras are the animal chakras. They are responsive. They move in this dance of like, I don't know, maybe yes. It's like it's the animal nature. We're not bringing logic into this. I'm not saying drop all logic. You know what I mean. It's like the code is in the lower chakras. So whenever there's a lot of intellectualization happen and you're thinking about like, oh, what is the right thing? What is the right decision? Very important to drop into the yoni. Do this yoni exercise. Begin weaving from the root up. If you begin weaving from the root up, you're going to reveal whether this is a yes or no. And whenever you uncover and discover your own inner apple, the inner apple is that one desired, like the thing that, like the reason why you wanted to incarnate into this three-dimensional reality. This desire that is the same for all of us, but it's also so vastly different from all of us. It's like both things, it's like the same and different. This desire, that is the fruit that you're going to receive from this exercise that we have done together in this workshop. So I said that there were two, right? And I said you're gonna discover one. Well, what's happening with the other? And this is the beauty of sexual tantra, and the tantra that it works with our sexual energy, is that your only responsibility is to discover what is that one true desire. What is your internal apple that is pulling you out of the Garden of Eden, out of the comfort of the status quo, out of the energy of just accepting what society told you, accepting what your family told you, accepting what is, and not stepping outside of the comfort zone, stepping outside of the grip of the devouring mother archetype, right? Like the grip of what is the dormant, the infantilized dormant princess state. The desire, that one desire pulls you out of that. Whenever you find your tantric partner, I'm not gonna say life partner, because we all have different definitions of what like true love is, or what like union really is. But your tantric partner is the person that is able to trigger within you that complete union, but it becomes externalized. And then the infinity symbol ignites, which is I have all this inner weaving, and there is a mirror in front of me that is reflecting it back to me, and then I'm bringing it back in and out and in. Like, that's what I mean by a tantric partner. It's an externalized activation of all of the inner weaving that you have already done within yourself. This tantric partner holds the other desire, and that's where duality becomes oneness. That this is the beauty of two becoming one. And in order to attract the appropriate tantric partner, we have to begin clearing up and transforming our sexual centers, dropping into the yoni energy, and weaving the energetic canvas that is a vibrational match to this externalized form of desires. So what can you do with all of this information that I gave you today, and how can you continue bringing this into your life? So first of all is observation. To become aware of our responses, our actions, our words. Like, this is a lifelong skill that's gonna help you in every area of your life. But if you bring in this same focus into, like, I'm going to explore myself, not explore the books and explore the things and see all the things, but myself, and I'm going to perceive what is it that I do, you're going to begin observing your own evolution in the world, and how this wisdom is already moving in your life, because it's already moving, even though it's swimming against the current, because there's so many programs and traumas and energetic knots that are not letting it really flow through. This wisdom is already here, and we just have to open our eyes to be able to see it. So there's two options that you can take right now, and is just continue observing life as is and just become aware of it, right? You have already a very powerful exercise that is going to give you, open up this energetic door that we have. So just keep doing that, and you'll receive gifts from that. Or begin using the ancient technology of Tantra to recognize what is really you and what is just an energetic imprint from something that's not you, from something that you inherited from your ancestors, or from something that society imprinted upon you. The true feminine empowerment is not about women rising into power in the masculine world that we live in. That is masculine power for women, which is very needed in this world. We need women with masculine power to rise up and create space for us. Like, this is what the feminists of the 70s did for us. They paved a way. They broke shit down so we can have the freedom and the liberty of having these types of conversations and being ourselves, and just breaking free of this collective consciousness of control. But true feminine power is very silent. It's soft, it's gentle. And it's not soft and gentle because I become soft and gentle and surrender. It's not an act. It's not something that you can see. It's an energy. It's following that snake, following that little Kundalini energy that is weaving together. Whenever you begin following her, honoring her, working with her, meaning understanding her yes and her no, and honoring those yes and those no's, you begin creating from a different part. It's like, it's not the visible, the tree that you see the progress little by little. It's an internal tree that is designing roots. It's like bamboo. Bamboo takes 5 years and you see nothing. Bamboo is growing and you're like, there's no bamboo here. And then out of nowhere, overnight, how they say, all the bamboo comes up. But all of this work that happened, that is feminine work, which is all internal. And it requires profound strength and courage, because the whole world is going to be like, you're not moving, you're not progressing, you're not doing this. Your mind is going to tell you, what are you doing? There's no much change happening outside. This is a waste of time. But internally, you're building the root system that is going to give birth and manifestation to this desire. Remember, you're holding one part of the equation, one part of the desire. Your external reality is holding the other. How it manifests, that's up to life, and that's up to the design of each individual woman. So there is a new version of ourselves that we give birth to whenever we follow the tantric principles and whenever we begin working actively with our sexual energy. This new version of yourself experiences freedom and love. And it's a spiritual freedom, and it's a love of herself. Loving ourselves, it's something that's very difficult to define. But loving ourselves is our ability to just feel wholeness in what we are, how we are in this present moment. It's not loving ourselves whenever I lose this many pounds, whenever I gain this many pounds, whenever I look a certain way, whenever I get this certain house. No. True love is your ability to wake up in the morning, and that gap in between brain fully kicking in and me awakening from my deep sleep, that gap, when you experience the sense of like, I'm alive, and the gratitude for it, that is true love. You cannot fake that. I mean, you can fake it externally, but you cannot fake that in yourself, the true feeling of it. So in order to get to this version of ourselves, we have to do this inner weaving. And whenever we do get to the version where we genuinely love ourselves, life starts giving us like little stepping stones. Here, follow the thread. And the feminine moves in darkness because it's mysterious in nature. So we don't know where the thread is heading to. But the thing about the thread is that in every little stop that you go to, whenever you follow the thread and you stop and you observe, you start seeing miracles, synchronicities, you start receiving. You realize that every single need that you have is covered for. Even if mentally it doesn't make sense how it happened, every single need that you have is provided for, because whenever you are following this divine feminine path, you are under the guidance of the divine mother and the divine father, the creators, right? The part of ourselves that is God, mother, father, God. That is the providership that gets presented whenever we're following this path. So all your needs get met and you start seeing the magic and the results. And I cannot sit here and tell you, you're going to see A, changes in blah, 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 B, da, 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 because I can only see my miracles based on what I'm vibrating to, based on my personal desires and based on my personal needs. This is something that you have to follow for yourself, and you have to see how it gets revealed. Then we can share, right? Then we can sit here and be like, oh my God, like and for me, the sharing, it's also something very intimate. I share the fruits of my feminine mystery with the people in my life that I deeply trust. And I'm like, okay, this happened and this happened because it's something so sacred to me. So that's why I'm inviting you to really step into this energy of just following the thread and allowing life to show you the magic of your own sexual energy, the magic of your desire, and may you find your own personal apple, because this personal apple is what's guiding you away from the Garden of Eden to become a goddess herself. In the spiritual sense, meaning the awareness that you are a manifestation of Shakti, and Shakti flows through you, and your desires are her desires, therefore they are destiny. If you would like to continue this work and you want to dive deeper, there's 2 different ways that you can work with me. One is with a brand new program that I'm releasing, which is the Picky Girl Tantric Shortcut to True Love. The name is very symbolic because there has been a lot of criticism I've received in my life from friends and partners that I'm very picky, as if it's something that's bad. And I've learned to understand that every other woman in my life that I've met that is also labeled as picky is because she knows there's more. There is a deeper knowing that this is almost right, but it's not my shape. So I'm giving myself permission, and I love myself enough to know that I deserve the shape that essentially matches my shape. I don't have to change and mold and try to fit into a tiny little shoe. I can get the shoe that's my size. So the Picky Girl Tantric Shortcut to True Love. This is a 3-month tantric course program. I designed this for professional women that are already in a state of, okay, I feel my self-worth. I know that I deserve more, but reality is not matching this for me. So you have already established that sense of worthiness, and you know that you deserve to have the perfect shoe that fits you, your size, your color, the essence of you. And the disconnect is from the external reality. So this is the specific woman that this program is going to help. And this is also for the women that don't want to settle for the blah, or the almost there, or the almost perfect. Not settling energy. This is very important in this work, because not settling puts us into the unknown, and the unknown can be very scary. And the unknown is something that, you know, the whole world gets afraid with you. They're like, no, don't do that. You're gonna drop this. You're going to risk your life. And you're like, you know what? A part of me knows that it's not, like, it's okay for me to step into the unknown. This is the courage that women that don't settle already have innately within themselves. And if you have that, then this program is really gonna help you begin using tantric principles to heal the root center. Use your sexual energy to begin weaving the shape of that aura that is going to begin attracting your desires, until you attract that one true desire. And that one true desire, that is your true love, and that manifests for all of us in different ways. For some of us it's through romantic love, for some of us it's through some other types of love, parenting love. Like, there's just so many manifestations of it. But this is going to bring you into that true love, which is connected to your own apple, that one root desire that you have within. So in the 3 months, I'll run through like all of the 12 modules that we're gonna go, so you have an idea of what to expect there. We're going to understand the tantric path to true love, which is by understanding desire, timing, and manipulating timing, and unconditional faith. Second week, we're gonna cover healing the wounds of love, which are abandonment, judgment, betrayal, persecution, and denial. The third week, we're gonna do a tantric ritual for beauty to enhance astral beauty and magnetism. In the fourth week, we're gonna discuss attracting the beloved, defining true love, and true partnership. On the fifth week, we're gonna go over the tantric fire goddesses, which are gonna help us heal unworthiness, rejection, and spiritual poverty that we're gonna have to struggle with. Like, this is one of those things that come back and return and leave and return to your life. So with the tantric fire goddesses, we're gonna have practices to eradicate these energies of not being and not true, to step into the worthiness, acceptance, and the richness and abundance of your soul and your essence. On the sixth week, we're gonna claim power, understand the energy of power, what is power, understand the no. And we're also going to study the Yoni Tantra, which is a Vedic ancient text that explores the mysteries of the yoni in a woman, and how to do practices with your own yoni as the sacred vessel of the goddess herself. 7 week, creating space for love and practices to do that internally. On the 8th week, we're going to unearth your unique lover blueprint, which is discovering the flavor of your feminine nature. And there are many ways of doing that, and I'm going to teach you 3 beautiful techniques so you can actually understand cognitively what that is. Then on the 9th week, we're going to go through surrender and inspired action, which is the pathway to finding a life mate, tantric mate. Remember, tantric mate means different things for all of us, so whatever that means to you. Then on the 10th week, you're going to receive a crash course on Vedic astrology, how it relates to Tantra, sexuality, partnership. And I'll teach you how to decode your own Vedic chart in very basic ways, so you can understand that. And then on the 11th week, we're going to do the peacock dance. And the peacock dance is the exploration of the feminine arts of adornment, seduction, and presentation. the externalized version, and then you're gonna probably discover why I decided to wear red lipstick today. And then on the final week, you're going to learn about the art of being pursued, how to interact with men or with the masculine, and how to prepare for dates and meetings with suitable tantric partners. So the price to join the Picky Girl Tantric Shortcut to True Love is $1,500, but you will receive a special price for attending this workshop, and you're gonna receive an email with the special price to do that. Class begins on January 13. And the second way of working with me is if you prefer personalized one-on-one work, and that is through my tantric mentorship program, Bharani. So Bharani is a little bit more spiritual in nature because we work exclusively with the 10 Mahavidyas, which are the 10 tantric goddesses. And this is a little bit more intensive, but you also get access to the course if you choose to do that. So before January 13, the price to work with me in Bharani is $5,000 for the 3 months. And after January 13, which is when the course starts, the Picky Girl course starts, then it's going to go up to $10,000. So if you want to work privately with me, make sure that you sign up before January 3rd so you can get in for $5,000. That is all for me. Thank you so much for joining me in this workshop. If you were able to join live, if you're watching the recording, hello. And I hope that this simple practice begins bearing the fruits very soon for you. So if you do it, you're going to find your own inner apple. You're going to find it. Just do it and you'll see, and then you let me know. Email me or reach out to me. I guess you can only email me now because I don't have incoming communication from Instagram anymore. But I hope that you discover the sacredness of your desire and go find and eat your apple. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much. It's a little late, but if there's somebody here in the chat that has any question that you would like me to cover, I'm more than happy to do that now. If you want to drop it there, I'll give you a couple minutes to write it. Otherwise, I will let you go. But yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time.